Hey guys, Chad Nine Eyes here. Just wanted to bring you guys out to the shop floor, and we're going to just give you a little tour, stop by a few of the different units that we have, highlight a few jobs that we're working on right now, and just maybe go over a few of the modifications and just give you guys a quick view of some of the things we got going in the shop right now. So come along, we're going to go take a look, see what we got. All right, so over here we're standing in front of a package multi-zone unit, and this is used to replace some of the old multi-zone units that were used in like schools and offices back in the kind of 70s, 80s, 90s, before true VAV came around. And a lot of units still out there that have these, and even some of the ones that were replaced once or twice, are coming up for replacement again. So always keep an eye out for these, but basically what we do is we take a packaged rooftop, either a Precedent, a Voyager 2, or a Voyager 3, or sometimes even IPACs if they get really large, and we put it on an adapter base. And inside of that base we have typically zone dampers per zone, and then a reheat to do either hot water or electric reheat. And we'll take a look inside here, and I'll just kind of show you what the inside looks like so you can get an idea of that as well. All right, so over here we're standing next to one of the zone damper assemblies here, and just kind of wanted to highlight this. This is going to go inside of the base. This one's kind of in progress here, but this one is a hot water reheat system. So individual hot water coils located in each zone, and then we have the zone damper on top. Out here we're going to have a three-way valve for each zone, and then we've got the actuator per zone. So essentially you have the guts of a VAV box built right in here. So each one of these is designed to be for an individual zone that's going to match up to the zone ductwork on the existing building. And then this goes inside of the PVM base, and we'll take a look inside of there and just kind of show you what the finished product looks like. All right, so over here we're at the end of the unit. This is underneath the condenser side of the rooftop unit, and this is where that zone damper assembly sits. This is going to go right over the supply air opening of the existing curb, and each one of these zones will line up to the ductwork that's connected to the existing curb there. We have a removable access panel here so that if ever in the future you need to, you could pull this entire assembly out. Otherwise, there's an access door from the side that you can crawl inside of this base, and you can get access to all the zone damper assemblies up front as well. So this kind of makes it open, makes it a lot easier to service if you ever need to. Okay, so next we walked on down here. We're standing in front of an ACRB chiller that we've added some free cooling modules onto the end. So I know that Pueblo has a few different offerings for free cooling on some of the chillers. This is another one, just another way to do free cooling, where we actually add 2 additional V-banks to the end of the chiller. We can add more than that as well if there's room. And essentially this is just 2 very large water coils that we divert that water, return water in, send it through these coils first anytime the return water is below the ambient temperature, or above the ambient temperature, sorry. And then that gives you basically partial free cooling, or at some point you can get up to 100% free cooling. So benefit of this over kind of the coil over coil design is that it makes the condenser coils a little bit easier to clean. Also doesn't add any extra pressure drop to that, so the factory fan, the chiller performance, there's no extra kW on those fans. That the performance of the chiller is not affected at all. So this is just a way to kind of add that free cooling without having to do the coil over coil design. And if you kind of walk down here, we'll take a look. This one we actually had pump packages on as well. So kind of underneath here you can see we've got the diverting valve for the free cooling, and then we walk a little bit further here and we have some additional pumps. So this one, if you want to add system pumps, we can add that. That way you don't have to have them somewhere else in the building. But that's just another option that we can do here, is integrate the pump package right into the chiller along with the free cooling. All right, so just next stop here, quick highlighting. Again, this is free cooling, but this one's on an RTAC chiller. So this one does have that water coil over top of the condenser coil design. So we add a water coil on the inside of that V as well. Again, we have all the piping in here. It's all hard piped. This one's got it on both circuits there. So just another option, free cooling on the RTAC. Okay, so again, this is another example of free cooling. This one's on a CGAM. You can just see the coil here over top of the condenser coil. diverting valves down here. All that will be piped up and packaged together by the time we send it out. This one's just kind of in progress here, but just wanted to highlight again, we do this on basically all the air-cooled chillers that Pueblo offers. So just another example. All right, so over here, just took a quick stop at our test stand area. So all of the units, after they're modified, they come here, we do a full test to make sure that we don't have any issues. Some of them are run tested if needed, otherwise it's an electrical test just to make sure everything checks out. So over here we've got a TTA chiller that we've converted over to a TTA condensing unit that we've converted to a chiller. You can see we've added in the braze plate heat exchanger in the back, along with all the controls to basically convert this over into a chiller. So that'd be good for, you know, that 5 to 20 ton range where the CGAM doesn't go down that low. And then over here on the other side, we've got an RUJ unit that we've added a digital scroll compressor to. So that gives you the ability to modulate that compressor down to do some capacity control. You can do active discharge air temp control with that. So just an example of a digital scroll and a RUJ. All right, so over here, we've moved down the shop floor a little ways. Now I'm standing in front of an IntelliPack with Symbio. And this one, we're adding an energy recovery wheel to it. So it's kind of a module that hangs off the back end and doesn't affect the curb that way. It still fits on the factory curb. And you can kind of see the wheel here, bypass dampers, and then here we're going to be adding the exhaust fans and the economizer hoods. But this just gives you an example. We can do energy recovery on basically all the IntelliPack lines. If we walk across the aisle here, you can see this one. This would be the IntelliPack 1, the old style IntelliPack. Same idea, you've got the wheel kind of tucked in the back there, and with this one we use a little bit different style exhaust fans, but the one fan is going to be dedicated to the wheel, and then the second one is going to do the rest of your economizing exhaust, or the exhaust when you go into economizer mode. That way you get full exhaust all the way across the range. But again, this one's fully integrated into the unit, fits on the standard factory roof curb, so it's, you know, wired, single piece construction, one lift, and still fits the curb. So just a quick highlight of that. All right, and then here we're standing in front of just kind of the finished product. So this is a little bit smaller IntelliPack 1, but you can kind of see here you've got the backdraft dampers for the exhaust fans, and then this is kind of the dog house that holds those, and then you've got your wheel again tucked in right there. So that's kind of what the finished product looks like after it's all complete. All right, so down here, standing in front of a CSAA compressor section, basically we take a blank discharge plenum of a CSAA and we add in the compressors, the heat exchangers, either a braze plate or a coax coil, reversing valves if it's going to be a heat pump. We sometimes do these as either water-cooled condensers or heat pump if you need like a water source heat pump application, but this is kind of how we do that. We add in all the compressors, the controls, everything like that to convert, make a packaged CSAA water source heat pump or water-cooled condenser option. So that's kind of what that looks like. All right, so now standing in front of a Voyager 2. This one is horizontal configuration, and we're adding in a hot gas reheat coil. So factory offers downflow only and hot gas reheat. And we are, you can kind of see it here, it's the thin coil we're adding just downstream of the evaporator coil. So it gives you an option to do hot gas reheat in a horizontal configuration. All right, so now standing in front of an IntelliPack here that we're adding a little extra gas heat to. So if the factory gas heat doesn't get you enough capacity or you need additional turn down or something like that, we can add more gas heat capacity to the IntelliPack line. So that's kind of what you see here. Some additional, these are tubular style heat exchangers instead of like the drum and tube. Just kind of gives us more flexibility, and we can fit a little bit more capacity in there than the traditional drum and tube style heat exchanger. But that's kind of how we do that. We stack them in, and just depends on, you know, how much heat you need. If you really need a lot of heat, we have even cut and extended the IntelliPack to add some additional room for more heat too. So lots of different options, and just kind of want to highlight that one. All right, so there you have it. That was just kind of a quick overview of some of the interesting things that we had in the shop right now. I'm sure next week there will be a whole lot more new stuff, but just kind of wanted to walk through and just kind of give you guys an idea of yeah, some of the stuff we see every day. So we're going to be opening it up for questions, and we'll kind of talk through some of this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and maybe we can do another one if we got some more interesting stuff to show you guys. So thanks for joining us.